So I want to tell you guys about mind walking. I don't know how I learned mind walking exactly. I didn't take a class in it. I just started doing it one day because something in my heart told me that it would work. Um, I was doing an intake with a woman who had a pretty extensive trauma history, and um, she seemed like she just really needed connection. So I had her put her hands out, and I met her like this, like we were about to play patty cake. Um, and then all of a sudden, I was sitting on a park bench. I could see it. And it was the park bench where she used to go to get away from her abusive home environment. And it all just started pouring out. What I've realized automatically when you link hands with somebody, you're engaging in bilateral brain stimulation because you have so many millions and millions of connections that run from your hand to your brain. You're basically touching your cortex when you meet somebody's hands. I believe it also initiates a form of telepathy, which would explain why I was able to see the park bench. What I will do on a first meeting, every time you come, even if it's for a simple massage, I'll have you sit opposite with me and put your hands up like that. We'll call in your higher power or the universe or the power of love or ... You pick. And what will happen 100% of the time, your hands will begin to move, and they'll indicate your clinical picture, what's going on with you. If you're here for a simple massage, this part might only take 5 or 10 minutes. But your hands will indicate work here, work here. Oh, there's a visceral component, work here. That way my work can be very targeted, and we don't waste time giving you an all-over rub down when really what you needed was 15 minutes on your liver, 20 minutes on your shoulder, 30 minutes on your right hip. Another facet of mind walking that I think is pretty freaking cool is the fact that while we are interfacing with the hands, your spirit can literally point at what you need. Sometimes there's a rock in the room that you need, and our hands will literally point to it, and we'll grab it, and perhaps it might have some emotional significance. You might like the color, the properties of it might be soothing. Other times, for instance, I was working with a lady the other day, and her hand pointed at my reflexology chart, and it pointed right to the intestines and the sciatic nerve. So in other words, her body, mind, spirit ordered off of a menu what it wanted. It made it very easy for me to help her because it was so clear and specific. A lot of the time when you're working with the body, you're working with a system that it's mostly nonverbal. We have a mouth, but that's wired directly into our brain and the hamster wheel up there. Sometimes it's difficult to get past that chatter and figure out what's really needed. And I love that work with the hands, the mind walking, circumvents that issue almost entirely and cuts to the meat of what needs to happen. Also, we'll begin to get into the fine energy motility patterns. That means, for example, if you have the energy of terror stuck in your right shoulder, our hands are going to go there, and probably we'll begin to feel shimmying or shaking. And then I'll know to ask you, what does this feel like? This feels like shaking. I sometimes shake when I'm scared. Can you tell me about a time when you felt scared? Generally speaking, what will happen once we've engaged that energy and accurately sourced it and talked through it, the shaking will stop, and you'll notice your shoulder feels better. Oftentimes, I don't even have to touch your body. A lot of the time there is a physical component, and I will get you on the table and I will mobilize your tissue. But a lot of the time, miraculously, I don't have to. That, in a nutshell, is mind walking. It will also let me know if there is a spiritual influence that we need to deal with. For example, if a person is suicidal, I've seen this a couple of times, there will be a strong pull, like an anchor, down to the floor. And that is something that we usually talk through. Sometimes the person actually needs to get on the floor with the pull. And once it's experienced fully, the person's no longer suicidal. It's pretty cool. And I encourage you to all come check it out.